Good evening. Welcome to my show, my program to help you understand coronavirus better. Coronavirus update for you on April 6, 2020. And my name is Heerak Christian Kim. I'm an independent candidate for US Congress in Virginia's 8th District, which is Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax County. Today is April 6th, 2020, Monday, and this is Holy Week. I have some good news and I have some bad news, and that is the death rate went up a little bit in terms of numbers. So from yesterday to today in 24-hour period, 1,274 people died from coronavirus. So yesterday it was 9,634. Today is 10,908. And so we see an increase of 1,274 people dying. So unfortunately, we have over 1,000 people dying every day. And at that rate, in 1 month, over 30,000 people would die. And so that's the bad news. Now, the good news is in terms of percentage, the rate went down. So yesterday, the death rate went up 13%, 15%, but today it only went up 13%. So that's 2% decrease. So you may be asking, how come the numbers went up, but the percentage went down? Because the total number of death is growing, so the same number may not be same. For example, if 100 people are getting ice cream and 10 people get chocolate ice cream, then it's 10% getting chocolate ice cream. But if there are 1,000 people getting ice cream and 10 people get ice cream, chocolate ice cream, then 10 out of 1,000 is 1%. So the percentage has gone down, but the number remains the same. I'm actually a co-chair of the program committee of Virginia Council of Teachers and Mathematics. I taught math in Petersburg City Public Schools in Virginia, 8th grade math. And we used to talk about percentages all the time. So kind of brings like memories. Petersburg City Public Schools has a large African American population. The middle school that I taught at was the only middle school in the school district, and 99% of the students were African American. I taught 4 classes, and one of the classes in the beginning of the school year had over 35 students. So I was sitting students everywhere. It was, but anyway, good memories. But so hello to all my students and their friends and their family members in Petersburg, Virginia, which is near Richmond City, which is the capital of Virginia. Yeah, subscribe to my channel and keep watching. And so, but the confirmed cases, in terms of confirmed cases, the total number of confirmed cases yesterday was 337,310, and it went up around 30,000 today to 367,507. So the number of people getting coronavirus is similar, and actually the death rate is kind of remaining similar, at least in the last 2 days. Let's see what happens tomorrow, but that's the case. Today, I thought you may be interested in learning more about United Kingdom. Yesterday, if you see my episode from yesterday, I talked about United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson being rushed to the hospital, and I discussed how, what are the ways he may die, or anybody who's rushed to the hospital may die. So if you haven't seen that episode, you may want to check that out. So I thought, maybe you were thinking about United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and we're kind of curious about England. So I thought maybe I can satisfy your curiosity today and talk a little bit more about United Kingdom, or the British Empire, or Britain, Great Britain. So in United Kingdom, currently the total number of COVID-19 cases are at 51,608. The total death in United Kingdom is 5,373 deaths. So about 10% of those who are having cases are dying, which is different from United States, because in the USA, we have like 3% of the people who have cases dying. So it seems like we're taking care of our patients better than in United Kingdom. No offense to United Kingdom, but at least it seems that way from the figures, unless we're testing more people, and that has some kind of impact on the percentage of death. So we have to do some calculations on that. So we don't really have time to do that right now. But United Kingdom is made up of 4 little countries, and they're actually countries. They're not really states. They were actually countries, and then they were kind of united under the British monarchy. So England has 42,990 cases. It has the largest population. It has the large cases of COVID-19. The death is at 4,897. Scotland has 3,961, and the death rate is at 220. Wales has 3,499, and out of those cases, 193 Welsh people have died. In Northern Ireland, there are 1,158 cases, and 63 people have died. Now, you may wonder about your pets. So I felt like, well, I should talk a little bit about your pets, because a lot of Americans have pet animals, either pet cat, pet dog. Some people have birds. Some have iguana even. So you may be curious if your animal pets can get coronavirus, right? If you get coronavirus, what's going to happen to your dog? Can you keep your dog with you? Or do you have to bring the dog somewhere else? But the problem is, if you find out you have coronavirus, most likely your pet dog is exposed, which means you may not want to expose the dog who's exposed to other animals or other people. So the question is, can your pet dog get coronavirus from you? Yes. And we have 3 articles here for you to prove that. On March 18, 2020, Bloomberg journalist Natalie Long reported that Hong Kong dog dies after release from coronavirus quarantine. So this pet dog had mild case of coronavirus, got it from the owner, and was quarantined, and it was mild. So they released the dog from the quarantine, and then the dog died. And we've heard these stories from human beings, about human beings as well. Human beings who are released from hospitals after people thinking that they're okay, they go home and they die of coronavirus. So it does happen in human beings as well. But that is to say, dogs can get coronavirus. So if you have a dog and if you get a dog, you get coronavirus, most likely you can give the dog coronavirus. Now, the dog may not have coronavirus, so you need to quarantine the dog. But the problem is you need to bring the dog to a dog professional because the dog may be exposed, the dog may have it, and while being in quarantine, the vet can find out whether the dog has it or not. Not all vets are going to take your dog exposed to coronavirus. So you may want to call around now to find out which vets may be willing to quarantine your dog for coronavirus. And to be honest with you, there may be 0 vets in Virginia. I don't know if Governor Northam will require all animals who have coronavirus to be put down, or I don't know what he's going to do. And I think most politicians don't even know that pets can get coronavirus. But obviously, if your pet animal has coronavirus and you have to walk the dog every day, and what are you going to do? Put a mask on your dog? I mean, not to be, light about this, but I mean, let's be serious here. It's, humans are not designed like dogs. So, yeah, that's an issue. And, I mean, do you like to see your dog suffer if coronavirus is serious? So these are issues that you have to think about. Oh, excuse me. Now, next question is, can cat get coronavirus? And the answer is yes. We have, the article here says, first known cat infected with coronavirus reported in Belgium. That's March 27th, reported by Lee Brown. And so evidence is there that cats can get coronavirus. Obviously, the virus within cats and dogs can be tested, right? Just like human beings can be tested. And now we find out today that Bronx Zoo tiger tested positive from coronavirus and got it from the trainer at the zoo. And they're saying that more animals are infected. And so animals can definitely get it from humans of different species. Now, we're not sure if, your pet dog can transmit coronavirus to other human beings. We're not sure about that. But remember, they are saying that coronavirus came from a bat in China. And that's why, President Trump calls it, I guess, China virus, just to, locate where it came from, kind of like the Spanish flu 100 years ago that killed hundreds of millions of people. But anyway, so if the bat can give it to a human, then logically cats and dogs and tigers can give it to human beings too. But obviously, we can't say conclusively from a scientific perspective until we test the hypothesis. And, that experimentation can take a long time, months, years. And it would be actually unethical to bring a human who doesn't have coronavirus, expose the human to a cat, dog, or tiger who has coronavirus, and then see if the human gets it, because you don't want to cause illness. So no ethical board is going to approve that research or experimentation. That is to say, only way we're going to find out if dogs and cats can give to human beings is by observing in the natural habitat. So how are you going to get examples of this? So in terms of testing, it's nearly impossible to test. I mean, once a human being gets it, you can try to figure out what the cause was. But right now, we don't even really know exactly how humans got it. They're thinking it's a bat, but nobody really has proven it. So we don't know, the origin of this virus. And that's one of the reasons why we're having problem trying to get a vaccine. or a solution, right? And if you see any kind of outbreak movies, they're always trying to figure, like, hunt that monkey down, or so maybe you want to watch some movies on outbreaks. Some of them have scientifically correct premises, so it will help you to understand this better. A lot of pandemics come from animals, right? The bird flu, the avian flu, right, came from birds. And so, you know, pets are our friends, but in the case of COVID-19, at least the bat uh, is no human, the friend, at least the bat that gave the coronavirus, if it's a bat, is no friend of us, right? Now that thousands are dying. But, well, you may be wondering why I have a picture of me with this lady. I felt like, this is a good way to introduce you to one of the world's experts on animals, but not from a veterinarian science, but from Old Testament studies. Professor Suzanna Millar, who received a PhD from Cambridge University, from the same department where I did my research in Jewish studies, the Faculty of Divinity at Cambridge University. She focused on Old Testament, and my field is Hebrew Jewish and early Christian studies. And so Suzanna Millar, I think she was at Peterhouse, Cambridge, was one of the colleges. A beautiful place. So you could Google Peterhouse, see what that college is like. I am a member of Jesus College, Cambridge. We had a lot of Scottish royalty and nobility, and my best friend at Jesus was a royalty, had royal blood of Scottish descent. And so, but anyway, so Suzanna Millar, she is an expert of animals in the Bible. For all of you who are animal lovers, you may want to check out some of her publications. And so she is the chair of Animals in the Bible section at the European Association for Biblical Studies, EABS. I'm a member of that. I've been a member for a long time. And I saw her, and this picture is from Poland. So the conference in 2019, August, was at the University of Warsaw in Poland. So I flew over to Poland to deliver my paper on Jewish studies in a different section. So it's a conference, European Association of Biblical Studies, yearly conference, one conference per year for all the members from all over the world. And there are different sections. So I gave my paper in a different section. But she's a chair of the Animals in the Bible section. And and she, at first I thought she was like an undergraduate. So I said, hey, I just met her at the conference. So I said, are you an undergraduate? Are you here with like a parent or professor or teacher, so, and she's like, no, I'm actually the chair of a section. And I thought she was joking, but she collaborated that information obviously with the program book where she and her name is listed. And so she's showing me her name tag and, is verified, but yeah, so she finished her bachelor's, master's, and PhD in record time. I didn't ask for her age, but she must be like 25 or 26. And it's possible at Cambridge because bachelor's 3 years, master's 1 year, PhD's like 3 years. But if you do it at Cambridge with a Cambridge master's, PhD can be 2 years. So in 6 years, you can be done. So if you go to Cambridge as an 18-year-old and go straight through like Susanna did, you can finish by the time you're like 24. And I actually had a friend when I was at Cambridge, Polly Ha. She was an undergraduate at Yale University, graduated with honors, and she was applying to PhD programs at Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Stanford. And she was at Cambridge for summer research in her junior summer, going into senior year. And we talked, and I said, why do you want to do PhD at Harvard or Yale? It's going to take me like 10 years or more for PhD. When I was doing my PhD at UCLA in history, there were people there literally who've been doing PhD for 26 years, and they're like sitting on a sofa. I thought, he was like a homeless beggar man, like homeless man. And so I said, excuse me, what are you doing here? He said, I'm a PhD student. I said, really? I haven't really, so when did you get it? When did you start your program? And he's like, 26 years ago. And I said, what? 26 years ago? So, I tried to find out what the average time for PhD in history is in the United States. At that time, I was looking at it, and they said, average time to PhD for history is like 16 years, something like that, something crazy. 13 to 16 years. I can't exactly remember the exact year, but I was just like baffled, And so I was kind of telling her, Polly Ha, this nightmare story, and I said, don't go to Harvard or Yale, to do your PhD. It's going to take you forever. Just come to Cambridge and do your PhD. And she took my advice. So the following year she came, and I was like, hey, Polly, what are you doing here? Oh, I just got accepted to the PhD program here. I'm starting now in the history department. And sure enough, she finished her PhD in 3 years. So she did her bachelor's at Yale. She was like 22 when she got her bachelor's, and she was 27 when she did her PhD. And she was going to Cambridge Presbyterian Church, the only Presbyterian church in the city. I actually went to St. Andrew's the Great when I was at Cambridge, which is a Church of England church, but evangelical. There are like 1,500 Cambridge students going there, and they were actively involved in Christian Union, which is kind of equivalent to InterVarsity Christian Fellowship in America. But anyway, Polly Ha, after she finished her PhD at like age 27, was immediately taken by history department to be a professor. So she became like a professor at Cambridge University at 27. And that's kind of like what Suzanna Millar is. She's a professor at University of Edinburgh, which is like the best university in Scotland. Her official title is teaching fellow in Old Testament. That's equivalent to America's assistant professor, So in America, we have different system as in England. So we start with the title professor, as an assistant professor. In England, they're a little bit more technical. So they have the fellows, the lecturers, and, and readers, and then professor. But anyway, so she's, she's brilliant like Polly Ha. Polly Ha's Korean from New York. Hopefully her family's okay right now. That kind of worried now. But yeah, so there are a lot of brilliant people out there. But so if you have interest in animals in the Bible, you can check her stuff out. I actually was planning to present a paper on animals in the Bible for her section this summer at the 2020 European Association for Biblical Studies, annual conference. This year it was going to be in Wuppertal in Germany, and I lived in Germany, in Heidelberg for six months with doing research with Professor Garrett Tyson, who's like a legend in New Testament studies. And his expertise is Jesus as a charismatic leader. So he put me up for like a week in his home. His wife is a good cook. She's a psychologist. Until I found a place on my own, but I did research with him. I had the German academic exchange scholarship day scholarship from the German government. They chose 100 people from the country, United States, for summer studies. So I went to University of Regensburg and took courses in German, on German literature, German political science, politics, and German language. And so I ended up getting like equivalent of something like 12 credits or at University of Pennsylvania, like equivalent to 3 courses. So that's on my University of Pennsylvania transcript. But and then I also did some study in Freiburg, Germany, in Penn Summer in Freiburg program, and that was a lot of fun. So I've had a lot of fun in Germany, and I've traveled around in Germany many times, but I've never been to Wuppertal. So I was kind of looking forward to going to Wuppertal and checking the city out. It's at the University of Wuppertal, and then seeing Suzanna Millar again and other people from the conference. It's like a big happy family. Everybody comes to the same conference every year, so after a while, it's like a big family. All these professors from all over the country. But this is more European concentrated. I was at Cambridge, so I became a member of that when I was at Cambridge, England. But anyway, yeah, so check our stuff out. There are a lot of interesting things in the world, a lot of bright people in the world. But right now, whether you are a PhD like Susanna or PhD like Polly Ha, or not, everybody is suffering from COVID-19. So these are very difficult times. So keep checking back and watch my show on my program so you can get more information about COVID-19. So it will help you survive COVID-19 and your little furry friends, your pets to survive as well. So this is Heerak Christian Kim. I'm an independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District, which is Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and parts of Fairfax County. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and visit my website at www.heerakforcongress.com, HEERAKFOR, congress.com. Yeah, so I hope that you will survive this COVID-19, and I wish you and your family and your furry friends well.